The financial world held its breath. Trump had spoken. A hefty 25% tariff loomed over imported cars and their parts. It was a gut punch aimed right at the heart of global trade. Wall Street, never one to shy away from a good panic, reacted with predictable theatrics. Futures dipped, investors fretted, and analysts scrambled to make sense of the chaos. But then, a curious thing happened. The initial shockwaves subsided. A glimmer of hope emerged as markets seemingly brushed off the tariff threat. Perhaps the world had grown accustomed to Trump's unpredictable trade tactics. Or maybe, just maybe, this was all part of a larger, more intricate plan. The date to watch, whispered the insiders, was April 2nd, Liberation Day. A day ripe with symbolism, a day where Trump, known for his flair for the dramatic, might just unveil his true intentions. Would he play the magnanimous victor, extending an olive branch in the form of trade concessions? Or would he double down, plunging the world deeper into a trade war? Wall Street, ever the gambler, waited with bated breath. Trump's tariff pronouncements weren't just heard on Wall Street, they reverberated across the globe, setting off a chain reaction in capitals from Brussels to Beijing. The European Union, never one to be caught off guard, scrambled to appease the American bull in the global China shop. Concessions were discussed, terms were negotiated, and a term sheet, that ever so diplomatic term for surrender, was hastily drafted. North of the border, Canada's Prime Minister, ever the picture of calm amidst the storm, adopted a more measured approach. He knew the importance of keeping the American giant happy, but he also understood the need to protect his own backyard. A delicate dance commenced, a careful balancing act between appeasement and defiance. Meanwhile, China, the dragon in the room, watched with a mixture of amusement and disdain. They had weathered Trump's trade storms before, emerging battered but unbroken. This time, however, the stakes felt higher. The world held its breath, wondering if this was the beginning of a new Cold War, fought not with tanks and missiles, but with tariffs and trade agreements. As with any earthquake, the epicenter felt the tremors most acutely. American automakers, caught in the crosshairs of Trump's trade war, braced for impact. General Motors and Ford, titans of the industry, saw their stock prices wobble like a poorly assembled car on a bumpy road. The tariffs threatened to disrupt their supply chains, increase costs, and ultimately hurt their bottom line. But amidst the wreckage, a glimmer of hope emerged. Tesla, the electric car darling, found itself in an unexpected position of strength. With its domestic manufacturing base, it was shielded from the worst of the tariffs. But even Tesla wasn't immune to the ripple effects, as the increased cost of imported parts threatened to erode its hard-won margins. The ripple effects extended far beyond the automotive world. Steelworkers, emboldened by the promise of protectionism, cheered the tariffs. Farmers, caught in the crossfire of retaliatory tariffs, worried about losing access to crucial export markets. The stock market, that fickle beast, gyrated wildly, reflecting the uncertainty and anxiety that gripped the global economy. As the dust settled from the initial shockwaves, a sense of cautious optimism emerged. Perhaps some analysts ventured, this was all part of Trump's grand plan, a high-stakes game of chicken designed to extract concessions from trading partners. After all, Trump was known for his unconventional tactics, his penchant for brinkmanship, but the risks were undeniable. By wielding tariffs like a nuclear weapon, Trump risked alienating allies, disrupting global supply chains, and triggering a trade war that could plunge the world into recession. The global economy, already teetering on the brink, could ill afford such a shock. Trump is insisting that regional and targeted tariffs on metals, automobiles, pharmaceuticals, semiconductors, lumber, and dairy products are for self-sufficiency and national security. But to become an efficient manufacturing hub, Trump has to ensure proper industrial and logistic infra to compete with mighty China. In any way, Trump may blink again and scale back or postpone reciprocal tariff implementations, at least partially to the 1st of July, from the 2nd of April for progress on bilateral trade agreement with various countries including China, India, Canada, Mexico, Japan, and the EU. It's the U.S. importers and consumers who have to bear the brunt of higher tariffs, not the exporters, despite the rhetoric of the U.S. External Revenue Service to collect Trump tariffs from exporters, which is utterly rubbish. Trump has to compete with China by developing comparable industrial and logistical infrastructures, including high-speed railway networks across America, Trump can't simply replace Chinese goods by imposing draconian tariffs and waging a tech and Cold War. Trump may sound less hawkish on Liberation Day, April 2nd, about reciprocal tariffs. All proposed sectoral tariffs, including auto and even metal, may be postponed by 3 months to pave the way for intense negotiations and concessions. Although Trump may announce pharma and other sectoral tariffs of 15 to 25% by the 2nd of April, Liberation Day, he may defer the implementation day by at least 3 months to the 1st of July to keep the negotiation window open. Nervous-looking Trump now wants some trade concessions and also kept the negotiation window open. And almost all major trading partners are now ready to negotiate with Trump after seeing the 25% auto tariffs tango. The EU and India are already discussing potential concessions for Trump to avoid an all-out trade war. Trump is insisting on sectoral and targeted tariffs on metals, automobiles, pharmaceuticals, semiconductors, lumbers, and dairy products, but he may postpone the actual implementation of the same as a negotiation tactic to get maximum concessions from trading partners including Tariff King India and Mini China, but worse than China, the EU. Trump is repeating that most of the U.S. trading partners have taken advantage of the U.S. for decades after decades about tariffs and other business regulations and ripped off the U.S. Now it's time for the U.S. to be liberated from such tariff bullying on Liberation Day, April 2nd. Trump plans to impose reciprocal tariffs on such high tariffs in countries like India from April 3rd. The world watched and waited, holding its breath as Trump walked a tariff tightrope. Would Trump maintain his balance, securing favorable trade deals without sending the global economy crashing down, or would he stumble, taking the rest of the world with him? Only time will tell.